things are beginning to calm down. We are living through a black swan event, so get ready. I have heard, though, that black swans are hard to guess. Who, though, has been saying that black swans are coming soon, guys? Or they're like swimming around and looking big? Yes, we did, right? Since the beginning of time, because they picked the third option, which is pump slump. They need to pump again. However, what we saw today was a small black swan. That was it. It came out of nowhere. But it's not the real one. Elon Musk says that President Trump's taxes will cause a recession in the second half of this year. That's the real one. It's crazy how Elon Musk is revealing everything right now. That's it. At this point, our schedule is truly perfect. Okay, I'll explain what this means because the long-awaited recession is finally coming in the second half of this year, from September to December. But to be honest, I think maybe October, right? It normally takes place in September, October, or November. FTX took place in November. There was something that happened in October that had to do with nations. And September had a lot of events, which is why people inside the company are getting ready to or find the right safety nets, safe haven investments, and video alerts for monster insider trading and trap insider trading. Mark Stevens just sold $150 million, 0 cents worth of NVIDIA stock. Stevens is the second largest shareholder in NVIDIA and has been on the board since 2008. If you want to know what to do, just follow the money. And the money is coming in from sales. This makes me think that the stock market will crash in the second half of this year. Here are 3 things I'm interested in when it comes to XRP. XRP will hit bottom at one of these points before it goes to a new all-time high. Now, I know this seems a little crazy, and XRP is slightly rising right now, but guys, I see a very bad sign on the 2 weekly charts, right? That set off something. For these longer periods to go backwards, we need to know how will you find the bottom? That's right, you go on the daily, the 2-day, the 3-day, the 4-day, and the 12-hourly. Once you get to these time frames, you check to see if there are any bullish divergences building. There isn't any right now. For the day, I see positive divergences for XRP, which I didn't see on the 3-day or 2-day chart. Then we'll go through the roof, but remember that this is only for the second half of the year. That's really strange. He says, okay, that fits with our theory, so go ahead and dump it. Pump, okay, that's already September, look at that. That's already August, pretty much something like this, guys. It's true that nothing goes up or down in a straight line. It goes in a certain direction, guys, but I think something like this would make sense. We'd rise to crazy heights because of the crazy amount of money that will be printed there. Okay, those are my thoughts on what's going on right now. I think we should look at Bitcoin's charts. Check out what's going on here, guys. For Bitcoin, bad news too, bad news bears. We're trying to keep you guys up to date on 2 important areas of interest that are coming together, right? So strong backup. By the way, if it does go through the help, right? That's about one is a 3K, one is a 2-ish high, and one is a 2K. In the next area, there are 84K Bitcoin and 96K Bitcoin, right? 96K Bitcoin. Then you want to pray and hope that this goes back up, right? Guys, it's going to die if it doesn't. Another interesting thing is, for Bitcoin, it also fits with what we talked about when we talked about the Black Zone event. Yes, this is how it will go for Bitcoin. So dump like this, right? Then there will be a pump, right? SPF, I believe that's a pattern of swing failure for the liquidity grab. It then goes back down to around 50, 60K, and as soon as money printing starts, prices truly go through the roof. It's going to happen so fast, right? It's going to happen so fast. It would really fool everyone if that happened. If I were a market maker, that's the route I would take. Okay, now what's strange is that if you go to the unemployment, the unemployment numbers, right? Again, this thing probably goes off even higher in the second half of this year, which matches up with the beginning of the year. Which one has to do with the current recession? Because he's not an insider. He was found out because he lost all his money in Clinical Insider. Since James Wynn closed all of his positions, he has made or lost a total of $20 million, 0 cents, over the course of his career. James Wynn says, I tried to beat them. I lost when I played the Bitcoin Cup. The top Bitcoin users have never tried me before or at this level. God bless. Hey, James is campaigning for money to trade it up again, right? It's pretty much the same thing I did, which is called vengeance trading, guys. When you lose a certain amount of money, you try to trade back up to that point, but you'll probably lose because you're not in the right frame of mind. I did that because an exchange has more than half of my XRP, guys. Right, and I tried to trade in retaliation but lost everything, so I'm starting from scratch with Ofti. Anyway, my thought is this. Hey James, If you're not a robot, why did you do this? It wasn't planned ahead of time for a reason. Send me the amount you have and I'll trade it up. All we need to do is trade the things you don't need to trade. Bitcoin, it is easier to trade XRP because it is 3 times as volatile as Bitcoin, right? You don't have to Google 40 times to find 15 times XRP. It's possible that Hyperliquid is trying to get more people to know about the exchange through this offer, which is why he lost all that money in the first place. That seems to be what it is. This must be a lie because I had the same thing happen to me on a smaller scale. But I think I have solved the problem. In a sense, we have broken the code. If you want to get rich and all the money that will be made, I'm only asking for 20%. He's not going to go with these guys because he's not interested. He works for Hyperliquid Exchange, right? But if he isn't, let me know through direct message and let's become Robinhood. But besides that, guys, Russia has started a lot of other things, right? But it's not just Elon Musk and Blackstone that are at play here. Outside forces are also at play. Then a new one with guys who showed up just like in 2020. In other words, they have a huge deck of cards ready for them to use. Yes, they're only going to play one of them to make the slump happen. What an easy thing it is. Franklin Covey says that there are many cases of years after an election when the market went down. 1969, 1973, 1977, 1981, and 2001. It was clear that inflation and or wages were big problems for all of them. I wonder if we'll see a big drop or a drop into the third quarter like we did the last few years. The stock market or the S&P 500, 2025, and we can see all of these other years. Inflation and labor were big problems in all of these years, right? One of them is 2025. It went down in the same way for everyone. Okay, for the S&P 500's ROI, which means that dumps happened later in the year, do we see a good time range for September to November? Starts that black swan thing. I really believe it, right? I really do believe it, but that's just me. I don't want to talk about Elon Musk too much today, but Tesla fell and everything else started to fall. But this is where people started to panic. Right now, you should become very negative because there is so much cash building up. You don't want to become too pessimistic. Take a look at all that cash. Do you not believe they will accept it? It's clear that they will at some point. After that comes the real test. Will we stay at this level and keep pushing, or will we fall and die before the moon? Okay, this is strange. This is something we had talked about before, and it came true. Now Bitcoin is 10% less than it was. Why? There was a golden star. Also, remember how we said Bitcoin drops 10% every so often? It did. The idea of the golden cross comes up again and again. Is the golden cross still whole? Yes, it is. If we keep dumping after this, it will die. In the very short run, the only thing that gives bulls hope is to hold these levels and pump. It's going to dump if we don't. When I look at XRP, I mostly see the lower parts. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm going to throw along though. Let's pray to God that I catch this long, guys. Then there isn't enough cash the next time. Cash the next long to $10.00 or $20.00. That's it. That's what I think. We'll see what takes place. That's all I have to say about it for now, guys. I believe the schedule makes it pretty clear what is going to happen. Don't do anything crazy and stay safe. Not advice about money. That's it. Also, get ready for anything. Sophie, what do you say? Says, see you.